Colorado is getting a big-time visitor from one of the best players in the country to help continue to bolster that offensive line for one Julian Lewis for next season. Not this upcoming season, but next season. Let's talk about it after the bumper. Stay tuned. What is going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? My name is JeffLightsyJr. This is the Victory Formation Sports Show right here on JeffLightsYjr. YouTube, Facebook, wherever you get your content. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and notification bell because I upload all the time. Now, Colorado is expecting a big time visitor from one of the premier prospects in all of the class of 2026, and that is none other than the Felix Ojo, offensive lineman out of Texas. Let me go ahead and show you what Hayes Fawcett of On3 put out there. This is according to Hayes 3. It says, news, 5-star offensive tackle Felix Ojo has locked in an official visit to Colorado. He tells On3 recruits the top 5 recruit in the 2026 class will visit from May 2nd through May 4th. Quote, I feel like Coach Deion is changing the game over there at Colorado. Felix Ojo is a 5-star offensive tackle. On3 has him in the top 5. He's a consensus 5-star, is a consensus top 10 prospect in the entire country. Let me go ahead and show you Felix's 247 recruiting profile. 6'6", 275 pounds, out of Mansfield, Texas, Lake Ridge High School. Over here, if you look at his consensus, he's a 247 consensus top 10 player in the country. 247 has him as the number 2 player in the state of Texas, but the composite has him as the number 1 player, meaning all the other sites thinks he's the best player in the state of Texas and a top 3 offensive tackle in the entire country, top 10 player in the entire country. This would be huge. Let me emphasize a couple of things. Obviously, we know Colorado and their struggles on the offensive line during the duration of Coach Prime, his tenure as the head coach at Colorado. But this will be huge on a number of reasons. One, we know Deion Sanders himself loves his players from where? From Texas and Florida. He loves getting the best players out of the state of Texas. He loves getting his best players out of the state of Florida. That's just something that he loves. He lived and resided in Texas. He's a native of Florida, so on and so forth. We know how it goes. But this will be huge also because if you're able to land, now getting more on an official visit is good, but we don't talk about official visits here. We talk about landing guys. Or won't just talk about official visits here. My bad. We talk about landing guys. And you want to continue to build that offensive line that has escaped you to build a quality offensive line over the course of the last 2 years since he's taken over. Obviously, you've had big time additions like a Jordan Seaton, a number 5-star tackle who in 2 years could be, one a first round pick as far as the play that he had in his true freshman season going into his true sophomore season. We know that you added Carday Smith and Chauncey Gooden, interior offensive line and outside tackle in last year's recruiting cycle. If we go ahead and take a look at Chauncey Goodwin, and this is according to 247 Sports, of course. Chauncey Gooden, the inside lineman at 6'4", 320. He was a 4-star prospect. Carday Smith, 6'5", 293. He was a 4-star prospect. Those two guys are looking to contribute. Adrian Wilson just recently hit the portal, but those guys are looking to contribute right away on this year's offensive line, if not as a full-time starter, as a rotational piece. A guy like Felix, adding a guy like a Felix Ojo, this highly decorated, and being able to get him on a visit is a good start. But if you're able to land him out of the state of Texas over schools like Texas, right? Like Texas A&M, like Texas Tech, the number 1 player in their state, going into their backyard, taking their player, the number 1 player, a player of need for your team, would be continuing to send messages to the rest of college football saying, hey, I'm Deion Sanders. When I go after high school recruits, I can beat out Texas, Ohio State, whoever, in getting the best players in their state. I can go to your state, Texas, and get the very best player out of your state. I can go to your state, Texas, and land a guy over you, a guy that you want, and a guy that can make an impact on your team, just like my team. I mean, this is the offer list, and these say warm, meaning they're hot and heavy on his heels. Oklahoma, Texas, they even have a primary recruiter. Michigan, Ohio State, Ole Miss, all looking to add Felix Ojo to their roster for the fall of 2026. And Deion Sanders is in hot and heavy with him, and to get him on an official visit over the course of a whole weekend, that's big. That's big. And what it could do also, if you're able to get him up there, he loves it so much that he commits. Now you have a building block for your class of 2026. Now, we know Colorado's not going to take very many guys in their high school recruiting class. They never do. But if you're able to have a building block, a guy of his caliber to commit to your team, to say that, hey, I want to be the linchpin. Every year, CU has a linchpin in their class. Last year, it was Juju Lewis. Now, granted, he came late, but he's the figurehead of the class. Juju Lewis. He may end up being your starting quarterback, if not at the beginning of the season, at some point during the 2025 season. Juju Lewis. The year before, Jordan Seaton. Right? They always have one. The year before it was Cormani McClain, but you know how that went. But at the same time, they always get a big fish. Every single year, we know Colorado gets a big fish. They go big game hunting, big fish fishing, the biggest of fish, and they seem to land one every single year. Last year, it was 5-star Juju Lewis, which ironically, and I'm probably have to do a separate video about this, but I was on 247 Sports, and I saw the fall that they had Juju Lewis. Like he went from being the number one quarterback like 2 years ago to somehow, some way, just continuing to excel, continuing to dominate, skip a grade, reclassify, continuing to dominate as a senior, but really a junior. And somehow he fell from the number one quarterback 5-star prospect to 126. Huh? Like what? I'm gonna have to do a whole video about that, because I saw that, and I was looking for Carday Smith, and I was like, oh, if I can just find Juju and go to the recruiting class, click on the Colorado button. But I kept looking. I was like, where the hell is Juju? But nonetheless, Felix Ojo. And the beautiful thing about Colorado when it comes to offensive linemen, because I started getting on a tangent about Juju, with a guy like Felix Ojo, that's always going to be appealing, is that there is immediate playing time to be had. We know the struggles on the offensive line Colorado has had year in and year out during the first 2 seasons of Deion Sanders. And you had Shedeur Sanders, and he was able to overcome most of it. Not all of it, but most of it. Well, we don't know if Caden Salter can overcome that. We don't know though, if Juju Lewis can overcome not having a good offensive line, not having a decent offensive line. I ain't just gonna say good. I mean, just make it decent. So Felix Ojo, if you're him, you're thinking, man, I could come in and be a right tackle. I could try to beat out a Carday Smith, or if Carday Smith is still there, because we know how the portal works. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Adrian Wilson's already in the portal. Or I could come in and try to play right now. Like right now, as soon as I get to campus in 2026, I can try to play. I can enroll early in spring and then fight for a position on the spot in the fall and end up being a starting offensive lineman. If it isn't a tackle because Carday and Jordan Seaton are just dominating, I can come in and be a guard. I can be a 6'6" guard, be a massive guard while I get my weight up, because he can't play college at 275 as a tackle, right? Like he eventually wants to kick back out to tackle, because that's where the money's at. But he can't play at 275. But I can get, as I'm getting my weight up, getting in that 300 plus, I can play guard, be a 6'6" guard. And that way, Colorado will then be able to run the ball better. Him, Cash Cleveland, Jordan Seaton, Carday Smith, get his weight up. You're able to then run the ball more effectively, have a better running game. And that's always going to help your quarterback. That's all, being able to run the ball. And that's the problem with having a bad offensive line and no running game. But if you get better offensive linemen, then in theory are supposed to have a better running game. And in theory, that helps your quarterback. That helps your star in the making quarterback. Because I think Juju is special. I think Juju is a star. I'm just being honest. I really, really like his game. He's small. He is small. But I think that dude just up here, he just got, all the talent, like arm talent in the world. But up here, I think he just has it, to be able to dominate the way he has been all throughout his high school career, and then come in and enroll early and push. I think Salter is going to end up being a starting quarterback. I've told you guys this. You guys got mad at me when I said that, but they didn't bring in Salter to be the backup. But he's pushing Salter. Like all signs during the spring is that Juju is pushing Salter for that starting spot as a true freshman, and Salter only having 1 year left. So yeah, but Salter hadn't hit the portal, so it sounds like Salter is gonna be the starter. But nonetheless, getting a guy like Felix Ojo on campus, getting a guy like Felix Ojo to come visit you, and potentially being able to pop a guy like Felix Ojo and get a recruiting win over the Oklahomas, over the Texases, over the Texas A&Ms and Texas Tech, that would be huge for Coach Prime. And once again, continue to allow or let the rest of the college football world know that us here up in Boulder, we're trying to build something special. And do you want to come be a part of something special, the special that we're building? And that would be really cool. Let's see what Felix Ojo is able to do. But getting that official visit, that's the first step, because you always have to take steps to landing big time recruits. But getting him on an official visit is the first step, and having the nice words that he had to say about Deion Sanders, that always goes a long way. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Felix Ojo will take an official visit. The 5-star consensus, 5-star top 10 player in the country, offensive tackle, will take an official visit to Boulder, to Colorado, to go see Coach Prime and the Buffs. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Once again, my name is Jeff Lightsy Jr. This is the Victor Formation Sports Show right here on Jeff Lightsy Jr. YouTube, Facebook, wherever you get your content. Do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up button. Like, share, subscribe, and notification bell because I upload all the time. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Peace.